And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gem of Crypto episode 590. Today is Monday, August 17, 2020, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. And today's top stories: Bitcoin price hits 13-month high of 12,200, liquidating $22 million of shorts. Grayscale brings altcoins to over-the-counter trading. Huobi launches global DeFi alliance to merge the East and the West. BitMEX to mandate ID verification for all traders as Maverick Exchange ends wild ways. And ING, Rolls-Royce, and Multi.io join blockchain education alliance. So a lot of good news stories here. But of course, first and foremost, let's go ahead and take a look at these prices today. It looks like it's official, people. The bull market has not only commenced, we're in it right now, I guess. Some people are still saying it's too early. I mean, of course, we shall see. But Bitcoin today is at $12,371 at the moment, up 4.18% on the 24-hour clock. Ethereum's at $440.24, up 1.35%. Ripple is at 32 cents, up 6.95%. Chainlink, woo! It's actually down 0.94% on the 24-hour clock. But I think since last week, since we checked in, it's up 100%. I think last time we checked, it was like $9, and it's at $18.89. So we know Chainlink is one of the biggest winners for the past 30 days. Stellar is at 11 cents, up 7% as well. Bcash, $321. You got Litecoin at $66.32, up 5.92%. So again, almost everything is in the green today. The couple of coins that are in the red are by all less than 1% for the most part. You can see here IOTA's at 1.04%. Even Neo silently, I talked about Neo not so long ago. They silently pumped back up to $17 right here almost. So a lot of good coins. We'll see if this continues though, right? That's the big thing. Is this going to continue, or is the price going to drop and rebound? This is a big pump in a short amount of time. Of course, we saw this in 2017, which was followed by a big drop. So, again, that remains to be seen. What's going on, Tony Nolly, Bitcoin, Jake, D. Chiron, Tessa Hall, Somovid, Khalil, Lucky Lloyd, hello. So, kind of on the heels of talking about the prices, Bitcoin price hits 13-month high of 12,200. Liquidating $22 million of shorts. Now, this article came out 3 hours ago, and this is how fast the crypto market works. Already, this article is proving to be false, and no offense to the writer. It wasn't their fault. They're just calling out something they saw in the market. But it looks like, of course, the sudden change to 12,200 caused instant pain, as they say, for some shorters, as one analyst described it as a, quote, clear fake out to take liquidity. Bitcoin triggered $24 million of liquidations on BitMEX alone on August 17th today, as everyone saw these markets push up to the $12,000 mark. So a lot of people right now are saying the only reason this happened is because it was a clear fake out and people just wanted to take their money. People wanted to take money off the table. You're seeing this here on BitMEX. The results of the few minutes of volatility we're plain to see. $22.1 million of shorts liquidate on Monday compared with just $1.7 million the day before. As a business, this is very good to see, right? If you are BitMEX and you're liquidating a short, this is good on your end. For the end user, for us, this is bad. For the trader, this is bad. And it almost makes me beg the question too: what's stopping bigger exchanges from doing these fake outs, from manipulating the price, just so they can catch traders in liquidations? Because that is a big difference. Again, when you're going from 1.7 million in one day to 22.1 million, again, that is a huge swing. But again, I'm not going to put all the blame on the exchanges here. We have places like Well Alert that looks at all these moves. So, of course, they will point those moves out if exchanges were actually trying to trade against the users. But it is something to be looked at, because they said this was a clear fake out. The only reason the price was pushed up was for the shorts to be liquidated. But while that's all being said, and the price, of course, rebounded back to $11,700, $11,800. Since then, in 3 hours, is already back up to 12,300 and some change. So it looks like pushing out the shorts may have not been the only reason why the price is continuing to increase. So we know it's not coming from the retail side, because mom and pops the investing I don't think has changed that much. So to me, this is a lot of institutional and organizations and old legacy money coming into the market. Khalil said, do you trade or only hold coins? It depends. For the last couple years in this bear market, it hasn't been a lot of trading going on. It's mostly been holding. But when the market is volatile like it is right now, this is a good time for trading. When you think about Ripple, I mean, alone Ripple in the last 7 or 8 months, right? The Ripple this year, I've seen Ripple go from, we've been in around 25 cent, 20 cent. We dropped all the way down to like 15 or 14 cent or something crazy. And now it's up to 31 cent. And this is in a matter of 6 or 7 months. So that's definitely a tradable asset. You don't, I mean, of course you could hold it, but if you're a trader trading, that's something you could actually trade, mid trades where it's like every few weeks you make a big trade on it or something. So the same with Link. That's something you wanted to trade these last few weeks. Let's see, BNB, US, so it's different ones you can trade. It just depends on the actual coin itself. Bitcoin Jake said up 80% on my Ethereum loan. There we go. What's going on, Madam Crypto? Dexter Hans Sr. Hello. Another reason why the market might be public. Grayscale brings altcoins to over-the-counter trading. That's right. The company also happened to clear a NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange listing requirement in the process. Shout out to Grayscale bringing altcoins to over-the-counter trading. So looks like here Grayscale Investments, the asset manager behind the world's largest Bitcoin trust, announced that its Bitcoin Cash Trust and Litecoin Trust are eligible for deposit at the Depository Trust Company, the largest securities depository in the world. Now it looks like, again, this is going to be the Bitcoin Cash Trust and the Litecoin Trust. They announced it today, August 17th, and they said that shares from both will be available on over-the-counter markets under the BCHG ticker, and the Litecoin Trust shares will be available under the LTCN ticker. So again, this is that institutional and traditional money that's flooded into the market. This is great news, especially when you talk about Bitcoin Cash, honestly, because we know Roger Ver actually does market to a lot of these traditional companies, saying that he's the real Bitcoin and this is how you're going to use Bitcoin. And of course, you also know it can be controlled a bit. So that's something that companies would like to see. And Litecoin's been around for a while. You know, they sponsor UFC events. They've done the poker tournaments in Las Vegas. So Charlie Lee has been out there pushing that Litecoin name. I think these are both good, two altcoins to start with as far as notoriety goes for over the counter. And again, this is one of those big base hits. While you have Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash first, maybe give another 6 months to a year, and then you see the next big altcoin, then the next big altcoin. Especially the way the DeFi market is pumping, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those companies, some of those tokens on the over-the-counter trading markets as well. So another big push for the crypto industry right there. Lucky Lloyd said, I'd rather hold. I'm awful at timing the market. That's right. If you are going to be trading, make sure you have those buy and sell orders placed sometimes, or those limits already in place. That way, if the market does suddenly drop or increase, you already have a chance to buy and sell it before your human brain can wrap itself around what's going on, right? Let's see. D. Sharon said, Litecoin finally showing some life, right? There we go. What's going on with crypto culture? Subtract PFC Wells. Huobi launches global DeFi alliance to merge East and West. That is right. I'm actually glad to see the story. Shout out to Huobi on this one. Hand clap for Huobi. This is a good self-regulation story, right? One of the issues we were having in 2017, and then of course, which only increased and got worse in 2018, 2019, was the draconian regulatory oversight that we saw in this industry, right? And one of the things we said that this industry really just needs is self-regulation, which we saw start to begin, where people are like, industry-specific groups, mostly, of course, the bigger exchanges or the money businesses in crypto, were joining alliances and joining together to try to self-regulate or come up with guidelines to how this industry would kind of do business, right? And of course, push those out to regulators. It hasn't been successful yet. We saw ICOs all but basically die. Because they couldn't really self-regulate. Instead, the government took over. So to see what's happening with the DeFi industry, a part of the cryptocurrency one, as it begins to blossom, to see them take the charge on this and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and create this alliance and begin to self-regulate before the government can do it on themselves, I think that is a good thing for the space, and I'm glad Huobi, who's been in the space for a long time, decided to lead the way. So again, Huobi DeFi Labs has launched a global DeFi alliance, which is set to establish universal protocol standards for the DeFi space and improve communications within the DeFi ecosystem. The alliance will also conduct research on emerging DeFi protocols to help avoid future crises in the community. And the alliance's inaugural members are MakerDAO, Compound, Nest, and DYDX. So again, this is pretty cool to see. In an interview with Cointelegraph, Huobi's Chief Investment Officer Charlene Wu said, quote, "We have to partner with the entire ecosystem, but we want to work with the best of the projects out there and make sure our users have access to them." Again, you know, she went on to say, hey, they want to bring together the fragmented crypto space by closing the cultural divide between the East and the West. Again, she's being quoted as saying, "We deeply feel there's an isolation between the centralized exchanges, financial institutions from the global community, and that we want to close that gap, and also the huge cultural difference between the East and West. And we feel that's part of our responsibility as well to bring the East and West and the community together." And then another thing she also mentioned was basically about how traditional financial institutions would actually transfer over to DeFi in the next 10 to 20 years. She brought up some points about that. Also brought up a point about how the future is borderless and unified. Something I also believe. I do believe the future is going to be borderless. We're not sure when that future is going to be here. And again, she's talking about with crypto and DeFi, we're building a new economy. So a lot to unpack there. The major things I really want to touch on is first and foremost, banks switching to DeFi in the next 10 to 20 years. That's the primary thing here, because that really affects the price when you talk about will traditional financial institutions transition over to DeFi. Now, I'm not saying impossible. I think that timeline is a bit premature if it would happen at all. And the reason why I say is because you got to remember, DeFi, crypto, all that stuff, once it becomes comfortable to the user, once we get these user interfaces worked out, a lot of the back end stuff worked out, and it's easy to the user, there's literally no need for a bank. So I don't see a bank necessarily transitioning over to them. I believe they may offer some ancillary products like we have already seen in the crypto space, where banks are saying, well, hey, we can do futures for you, we can do shorts, we can do custody now, or whatever new brilliant idea they come up with for you to buy some type of thing rather than the underlying asset of Bitcoin. I think we'll see that happen with banks, where they'll say something like, hey, you can connect to your DeFi, whatever, you can do this through our bank. I think there'll be products like that. I don't think banks will go full DeFi, because again, that would kind of literally be the death of them at that point. So I don't see that happening, but I do see them offering services where they say, hey, need help managing your DeFi account, need help managing your DeFi portfolio, do you need help doing this or something? Or if you let us log on to your APIs, we can do it for you. I see more of those type of things happening on that. Now, the cultural gap with the East and West. I think crypto and the DeFi industry are some things to bridge it, but there's so many things politically going on. Until those get bridged, I don't see the financial side bridging it together. Because one thing everyone always forgets, people, and I love to remind people, is regardless of how we feel on the financial side when it comes to China, and by us, I mean the retail investors, even some of these bigger companies out there, these institutions out there, and these accredited investors. When it comes to governments, you're talking about your financial economy, we cannot rule out the military. When you're talking about the military of the United States and China, and who wants to have the top dollar, quite literally, when it comes to the dollar-backed everything, or the yuan, petro yuan they're trying to push for now, where you're talking about having a conglomerate on a fiat currency, I don't think there will be any cultural mending going on in the near future, because the traditional system does not want that to happen. That's not good for the traditional system either. So don't see that happening. Again, I hate to rain on the parade of Huobi, but again, I do want to shout out Huobi for their global DeFi alliance. I think it's good for them from a business perspective. I think for a company, we'll start seeing more companies actually do this. The smarter ones, the bigger, more established ones, we're going to see them come in. Whenever we have a new part of the crypto industry, expect to see a company take the stand and be like, hey, we're about to create this alliance, we're about to self-regulate, we're about to merge every partner in the industry that's doing this. So I think this is a good thing. Shout out to Huobi. And I can't see what happens. I can't wait to see what happens with this global alliance, especially when the DeFi networks begin to expand as we're seeing now. And the government, that's the next thing, when the government regulators start to stick their greedy little fingers in, just little greedy little nasty hands and want all your little money. We'll see how this alliance pushes back, because I guarantee you that will be a contentious item on the to-do list for the government and the alliance here in the near future. So we'll see what happens. Sergeant Crypto said mortgages going to DeFi are banks done. I saw that story earlier as well as some comments about it. If mortgages go over to DeFi network again, I think it can happen. I think it's too early for it to happen. I don't think it's nothing that we need to worry about now. But exactly, if mortgages go to DeFi, if people start using crypto, all these things, again, there will be no need for banks. And again, I think they'll just kind of redo their business as far as what a bank is. It'll probably be more of helping to provide financial services, as far as like education services or maybe trading services, all that type of stuff, rather than just storing your money. But we'll see how they mature, right? PFC Will said, I've been saying it for a while now. You see the culture divide and the content creation part of the space. In my opinion, that's the ground level of where you've seen where you see the wall start to come down. It's funny you say that, PFC Wells, because this morning when I read that story about this global alliance, I was thinking the same thing from the content creation point of view, from the YouTubers, from the people on Twitter. So like, what if there were some type of social media alliance in crypto where it's like, hey, if you're not part of this alliance, if nobody don't know you, then we're just going to automatically assume you're trying to push out a scam, right? Of course, that's a slippery slope whenever you create these alliances, but that would be a way to kind of, at least on the social media side, take on scams head on, where it's like, no, these are the group of YouTubers and Twitter people and personalities that's been out there. If you're not hearing it from this group of people, then it's probably not true. But it's alliances like that could be made on the crypto side. And then once the government or these private companies do come out with what we saw in 2017 and 18, where, oh, you can't advertise on YouTube or Google or Facebook anymore for crypto advertising, or you can't do these type of YouTube videos. Once you start having people getting picked apart one by one, which we've seen, or once you have the SEC coming after YouTubers or Twitter people for whatever opinion they put online social media, then you can have that same type of social media alliance push back against the government and regulators and say like, no, like this isn't something we agreed on. This is an industry standard that we're comfortable with, and you all as government officials can continue to do your job by serving us and going along with this industry standard instead of just pushing along your laws from 1882 or whatever Huey test you're using, right? So again, that's why I am for the alliances, because I do think this is going to be the future of crypto. I mean, this is the future in every industry. Whenever you see industries start to blossom, I mean, either two things happen. The government comes in like, all right, we're just going to take all your money and tell you what to do, or they begin to play nice with each other, make friends, and say, hey, we need to figure this out together before the government comes in and takes all our money and tells us what to do. So we'll see what happens with that. D. Chiron said, too bad banks already own so many mortgages. You already know it. What if banks sold their mortgages back to a DeFi network? That'd be pretty funny. Let's see. Ryan Cooper, what's going on? PFC Wells said there's a handful of folks who cross regional markets. Name me two people in Africa or Japan who are LATAM. Most can't. Yeah, Apple is going to be giving out home loans in 15 years. I can actually see that happening. All right, some unfortunate news for today's story. BitMEX to mandate ID verification for all traders as Maverick Exchange ends Wild Ways. It's all right. You know what? Let's give a hand clap for BitMEX, people. All right. Shout out to BitMEX. I actually like how CoinDesk, as well as BitMEX, is pushing out this information in a lighthearted way. Basically what's going on here, BitMEX, one of the oldest and most controversial cryptocurrency derivative exchanges, announced mandatory identity verification for all users. Now, if you've been on BitMEX for a while, you already know that they already stopped servicing the United States a long time ago. I think they actually made a private exchange for the U.S. to kind of reopen or whatever. But, you know, their whole shtick was, as you can see here, registering to trade on BitMEX takes, quote, less than 30 seconds, unquote, according to its homepage, where new users outside of restricted jurisdictions are required to enter only an email address, password, and pick a country of residence. Now, For those who are tech savvy, know that even if you're in the United States, you could have used, or you can use, a VPN and just basically say you're in a different country and still continue to trade on BitMEX, right? A lot of citizens in the U.S. Have done that before, so and probably still do it, of course. Many of these exchanges, but it looks like on August 28th, verification will be mandatory for all users, a process that will include proof of location, funds, trading experience, and more, according to Ben Radcliffe, commercial director for the BitMEX parent company. Again, now to be fair, this grace period ends in February of 2021 as well. And BitMEX did a good job rolling this out. They've told users really, since 2017, the government has been pushing every major exchange to have ID verification. And for the most part, they all have, at least for U.S. citizens. Again, I remember BitMEX enrolled a different platform out. But even when they enrolled those platforms, I remember the communication. They were doing a great job of sending emails like, hey, give you a heads up, either move your money or you're going to have to register all the way, or you want to be able to have access to your funds in the next few months. And every month, every few weeks, they were giving you updates. All the way up until like the day it was happening. It was like 3 updates a day. Like, hey, again, trying to tell you, move your money, or be ready to have it locked on the account if you don't register or whatever. So they've given everyone plenty of time to do it. And then now for the entire platform, they've given everyone more than enough time to do it. And also by now, if you've been using BitMEX, you should know how to trade off of the exchange by now. Again, there's cross-atomic swaps out there. You can trade in wallet. Now, the part where this is going to suck and where it hurts, and where I do want to give BitMEX a shout out at, BitMEX, for one, of course, founded and owned by Arthur Hayes. He's a black guy. He founded BitMEX, turned it into a unicorn company, multi-billion-dollar company within like a year or two. So, of course, shout out to Arthur Hayes. I know he beefs with some people in the crypto space, just like every other crypto personality out there. He always has interesting tweets. But he's a person that's always involved with the community. And it's crazy. I can't believe we actually haven't had him on this show. We need to reach out to him and have him on this show. But BitMEX did a great job when they opened. One of the things I love, while they weren't the first to margin trade, they were one of the first to margin trade times 100 people. We talked about this before. So, some of these other exchanges, I can't think something off the top of my head, but some were only margin trade times 3, like Poloniex. At first, you could only margin trade up to times 3 of your account, and then of course some came out to 6 times, 10 times. Well, BitMEX had it so you could margin trade 3 times, 5 times, 30 times, up to 100 times the value of your account, right? And again, for people who don't know what that means, margin is basically getting a little short-term loan on your crypto to trade. The only thing is, if it goes above a certain number, if it goes above the calls or whatever, then you get to make more money, right? If I say, Bitcoin right now is at $1,200, I'm margin trading, I'm trying to leverage, if I have $12,000 in my account and I want to leverage that 50 times, however much that number is, BitMEX will actually allow you to do that, and they'll allow you to trade up to that. So if it went from $12,000 to $400, whatever percent or whatever many times I traded that leverage, that would be the amount of money I would get back. Now on the flip side, if you were to trade something as high as 100, it's a very small margin for error. So if it did dip below that 12,000 price, again, off the top of my head, let's say you did go 100 times on that, and it slipped to $11,990, $10 short. They could actually call that margin and take all of your money from your account. Again, that's just me with some very liberal numbers out there. I don't know the exact things. I haven't done it in forever. But that's basically the way leveraging works and margin trading works on these platforms. Again, BitMEX is one of the first people to offer it, and they definitely were one of the first people to go times 100 for leverage on there. And I would tell you, as a user of this platform, I've used some of their leverage. I think the highest I went, one time I got a little crazy and went 30 times or something. It paid off. But again, so shout out to them. They gave everyone plenty of time. But another reason why this story is kind of, making, poking a little bit of fun of it, is that this is the end. This is the end as we know it for BitMEX. Like other exchanges in their past, once you go full government, once you got to do your blood type, where you getting your funds from, your social security number, where was your mama born, what's your Mima's nickname, once you got to do all that stuff, then your exchange is dead. So it's unfortunate. BitMEX is dead to the traditional community of cryptocurrency, but shout out because Arthur definitely got his bag from it. And I'm sure if he wants to sell this company in the next 3 years, he can still get another bag from it. Again, this is $1 billion company. So shout out to them as well. Ryan Cooper, what's going on? Said it's funny how BitMEX and BitMax are so close in naming. I use both. Sergeant Crypto said it was bound to happen. Of course, it was. They held out as long as possible, but at this point, if you're a major exchange, you're giving your money, you're giving your information to the government, or they about to run you. All right, like it's happening. D. Chiron said we will all have our digital ID soon enough. Hey, if you're not a terrorist or a criminal, why do you care about your privacy so much, right? No, I'm just kidding. Ryan Cooper says salute to Arthur Hayes. Yeah, you know what? Hand clap to Arthur Hayes, people. Again, let's talk about what this guy did. He created an exchange, right? It became a multi-billion-dollar company in less than 2 years. And on the exchange, he offered users around the world an ability to sign up, a frictionless way to sign up and register and move your crypto to that exchange, and to trade up to 100 times leverage. Think about that right now, people. Can you walk into the bank right now with $1,000 and say, hey, I got $1,000, but if y'all give me $100,000 for the next 24 hours, I might be able to make something shake. And the bank will say, all right, go ahead. Like, you go ahead and do something with that 100,000, let us know. And tomorrow, if you have more than 100,000, we'll pay you the difference. If you have less, then we're going to take all your 1,000, right? You don't see it. That's not possible, especially with no verification. BitMEX allows you to do it. They basically said, hey, we have your account, whether you have $5 in it or 500 million, whatever. You can leverage up to what you want. If it doesn't fall, if that thing starts falling short, you're going to get liquidated in a heartbeat. But if it goes well beyond and you sell at the right point and you call it, then you will make your money. And I actually remember when there were some flash crashes and people were caught up on margin trades and stuff. BitMEX went back and fixed a lot of mistakes where they were kind of trying to short people on some of their crypto before. They went back and fixed that and gave people the crypto that they kind of didn't have to, because we all know when flash crashes happen on exchanges, a lot of them do start acting real shady. They start getting like Coinbase when they're about to list a new coin or the price go up. Like, they just stop working, right? So again, shout out to BitMEX and Arthur Hayes. Definitely want to say he was one of the first to do it, and I'm sure he's going to have more projects for us out there as well. Brian Smith said, I have a 10 times margin long on Ethereum, up 30% on Bybit. There we go, Brian. Hey, listen, people, if you margin trading, that's I'm pretty sure Bitcoins, they got a video on the channel, but we need to update it. We definitely will. All right, last but not least, want to end on a great news story. Looks like the Blockchain Education Alliance, launched by blockchain accelerator Mousebelt, has recently gained several noteworthy new members. It looks like Ashley Meredith, the head of education for Mousebelt Blockchain Accelerator, told Cointelegraph today that the new members include brewing company Anheuser-Busch, Dutch bank ING, cryptocurrency exchange Multi.io, and luxury car company Rolls-Royce. The addition of these firms makes 26 current members in the organization. So again, shout out to Mousebelt. We covered them before. This is really good to see. It looks like, according to Mousebelt, these companies have been utilizing blockchain technology for up to 5 years. Now, I'm assuming, I know how they do these. I'm assuming they're adding up how much time everyone has spent on blockchain technology. So if any of these companies at least had one person doing any type of research into blockchain technology, they're probably like, oh yeah, they've been utilizing it for 9 months over here. So it's one of those things, right? Because again, whenever people talk about blockchain technology, they fail to mention the specific blockchain. Which specific one, which part of the technology are you using? You can't just put that blanket word out there and expect me to believe you're actually using it. You're really using it, not just whatever in it, right? Not Long Island iced tea in it, right? But it looks like Blockchain Education Alliance was involved in a 3-day conference which streamed nonstop in May, when many students were still sheltering in place and unable to attend classes. The Reimagined 2020 virtual conference hosted students from more than 20 universities. And the firm said it would connect related projects to students, researchers, and blockchain protocols through the Blockchain Education Alliance. The alliance aims to support education to ensure students receive the skills, connections, and knowledge necessary to contribute to the blockchain ecosystem. So again, people, this is great to see. It's great to see the companies that are getting involved. And again, you got Rolls-Royce involved, people. Anheuser-Busch, and a bank. To me, all that says is more jobs, right? That's something we always talk about on this show, where it's like, hey, if you just watch us, just watching us alone will put you in a position to get one of these crypto jobs above most people because you know so much more about the market. If Rolls-Royce, if Anheuser-Busch, if there are some of these members of these firms, there's some of the member firms in this organization, that's because they want to hire people. They do plan on using this blockchain technology, whether they're actually doing it now or they really plan to enroll it more in the future, especially depending on the percent of how they're going to transfer things over. They're going to say by the year 2022, we want 30% of all our financial operations to be on someone's blockchain, right? If they're going to do that, they're going to need to hire someone for those jobs, which is why they're joining these alliances to train people on it, right? They're joining these alliances not just to give away money blindly. They're joining because they're saying, hey, we plan on using the technology. We want people that know what they're doing, and we want people that we have basically homegrown. And that's what they do, these alliances. Like I said, they find the students. They make sure these students have the skills. They make sure the students have the connections, the knowledge, and everything necessary, as they said, to contribute to the ecosystem. And then once they're good to go, that's when Anheuser, Rolls-Royce, and some of these other companies roll right back in and say, hey, those people we funded 5 or 6 years ago, we want them to work at our company. We want to give them this internship and have them come in and see what they can do. So again, big step for all things cryptocurrency, blockchain, fintech. This is really good to see. And I think they're going to be setting an example for the rest of the companies in their industry, because if this works out for Rolls-Royce, if this works out for Anheuser-Busch, especially Anheuser-Busch, I mean, when you're talking about bottling beer or canning beer, there's so much stuff that can go on the blockchain there that can be automated. I mean, just off the top of my head, you can make more make your business more efficient. So if they do it and it works and they save money, which of course will help them make money, expect to see Coors Light fall in line, or they might actually be the same company, but expect to see the other beer companies fall in line. Expect to see the other car companies falling in line too, saying, hey, we want to be a part of some accelerated program too, where we can find the same type of talent to take our company to the next step. So again, this is really good to see, and a big base hit for all things crypto as well. All right, let's see. PFC Wells said it's all about farming. Did you say framing? It's all about framing? You might say framing, but I was thinking about farming too. Because I'm like, these companies out here farming for blockchain talent. They're like, hey, we about to go ahead and plant these seeds early, right? Let's see. Ryan Cooper said that was a really informative conference. The Reimagine, that's pretty cool. See, there we go. Crypto Warriors been up in there. Ryan Cooper said the next Reimagine conference is coming up August 28th next week. Okay. QR codes on your beer top, some of your ideals, and reward programs ideals, right? Yeah, the Reimagine conference, again, people, is next week, August 28th. You can check that out. Other than that, that is the show for today. As always, thanks for watching The Gentleman of Crypto. Make sure you smash that like and share button, and we will be back tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.